Why are graphs and charts so important in social media? Well, on today's topic, we're going to be covering why social media can be used to display information in a graphic format that will allow your people, your followers, your prospects to interpret data easy and make a data driven decision because they're seeing visual interpretation of data. So, my name is Maggie Carey. I'm a social media strategist and owner of Master It Media. We're a social media agency and we help businesses take the commotion out of their promotion by designed social media graphics that are custom branded and spoken in the voice of our clients. Now, you can follow us on social media to get tips like the ones we're going to be sharing today. And you can check out our YouTube channel that has tons of information on our social media and how we can use it in our business. So let's get right into this. So, what we're going to be sharing today is information on graphs. Now, you remember those fun pie charts and bar graphs that are used in order to interpret certain data. So, things like when you have a stat, you can put that in a graphic, and then that graphic can be used on your social media, and you can explain more in a caption. So, this is when you get into your social media to drive that decision for a business or a customer to buy from you. Now, don't worry about having too little information. I know sometimes people feel like this bar graph has to be big and complicated, or this pie chart. Sometimes it's easy as just showing a percent. And that's where I want to give you a little bit of insight in a tool called Canva. Now, Canva is there's a free component to Canva where you can create these graphs with ease. And I'm going to focus on that. And we're going to show you not only how to create these graphs, but give you some ideas and tips to really stand out among your social media. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to get started right away on this. Now, don't forget that when you are using Canva, it is a free, there are free components, and I'm going to be sharing the free version today. This is my free account with Canva, but I also suggest you look at the paid version. The paid version does have a lot more to offer. But don't worry about it. The free version has tons of things that you can use to really leverage w- really leverage the platform and get information out. So here's the main Canva um, homepage. You can click on create design and you can select an Instagram post. There are some things down here that kind of give you some advice, and you can see as you scroll down, there's a bunch of other stuff, right? So if I clicked on create design and created Instagram square, it would bring me to a page similar to this. Now, when we're talking about graphs and charts, what you want to do is scroll down. Sometimes you do have to click the more button to get more, like there may be a more down here somewhere. But in this case, I have charts right here and I want to see all. Now, here you can see I have different charts. I have this kind of cool progress ring. And when I click on that, I can change the color. So, for example, like I'm going to use a purple. Um, maybe here I want a different color. Maybe I want something a little bit like a teal to kind of stand out. And then if you noticed, I can change the percent. Now I can use this sliding scale to do that, or I can go in here and type in a number. Now, notice when I type in the 43%, it actually figures out the balance of the 57% for the other one. I don't have to do both, which is nice. I can data label it, which is cool. I can change the round ends. So all of these things, like the line weight, I can make it thinner or thicker. Um, all of these things allow you to do different different styles, right? So you can see here, I can do it as a progress bar instead of a graph. Um, you know, it, um, oh dear, you have options that are now. I just hit the back button, which kind of took me out of what I was working in. Welcome to my Monday. Um, so in this design, you can also like this was the progress bar. I'm going to go back and I'm going to click on elements, and then in elements, I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to click on charts, and you saw the progress bar, you saw the progress ring. I'm just going to play a little bit with these. There is also this radial progress. Different ones are going to give you different ideas to do different things, right? So if you're looking at um, your data, like figure out what is the best visual representation of that data. Would it be a pie chart? Would it be, like our traditional pie chart? Is would it be a bar graph similar to this, where I love this kind of thing, but keep in mind there are elements when you're creating things like this. And one of them is the data needs to be such that it can be easily seen. And you also have to watch for mobile access, right? You need to be sure that this could be viewed mobily well. Now, something like this may be very difficult to see in a mobile aspect, right? So we have to decide what we're going to do. So we may say, you know what, I want to do a pie chart. So let's take a look at creating a pie chart graph. Now, I'm going to just put, this is, widget one. And I'm going to give widget one 20%, and widget two. Now, this could be a product, maybe it's sales, maybe it's what's popular right now. Um, and then you could also delete things. This is a cool little way that you can kind of put your things in. Now, you're seeing as I'm doing this, um, it's automatically doing the percentages for me. Get rid of 5 here. And you can see where it automatically, if I'm doing 20, maybe these are numbers, maybe it's not, it doesn't have to necessarily be a percent. This could be, okay, I sold 20 of widget one, 40 of widget two, 10 of widget three. And you can see here that it automatically creates the percentages for me. I mean, that's pretty cool, right? Um, so Canva allows you to really embrace um, your focus on your data and let it figure out the mathematics, right? So if I do something, like, well, I really want true percent, now here's where you just got to make sure that your series totals 100, right? Now, in this aspect, notice that you only have one color. So if I create a pie chart and I pick a color, and of course I'm going to pick purple. See how this changed, right? You have to look at this and figure out how you're going to make this work for you. In the settings, you can go in and you can see, are you going to show labels? Are you going to show numbers? Are you going to show percentage? Do you not want to show the numbers at all? But let's say we're doing this. The one thing that you have to remember when you do this is going to be viewed online. So I'm going to take this chart and I'm going to center it. Now, see how I have these crosshairs? I'm centering that pie chart. Now, you may not want it. Maybe you don't want it centered, but in this case, I do. And I'm going to make sure that it's centered. The other thing I'm going to do is I can size it. I can make it bigger or I can make it smaller. Now, the reason I'm making it just a smidge smaller, and I'm gonna bring it down a little bit, but center it vertically, is I want to add a heading to this, right? And this is where you need to be very, um, what is this showing? Very particular, right? So I'm going to say widget popularity, right? This is something where people want to know what's going on. You can do this. Now, it's a clear interpretation of data. It says what is the most popular thing so that people can say, oh, widget two is most popular. Maybe that's where I want to go, right? Let's take a look at another graph. Here's elements. Um, this is a scattered plot chart, and you can see this is great for percentages and it gives you things. Finance is a great interpretation of that. Um, we had talked about here doing a bar chart. Now, remember, you can clear data, you can start this and put in your own data in here. So, you can have, let's say, Facebook. And this is your, you know, popularity. I'm just going to do 200 here, and Instagram. And we put in 500 and 1,000. Like this could also be, like showing interpretation. Again, you can pick different colors to kind of give it a little bit more of your brand look or feel, or change up some things to make it match. Like if we're talking about, um, what is the difference between these two? You have, this could be 20, maybe we're talking years, right? 2019 to 2022, right? It should be 1,000. And you can see as I'm changing, it's also changing the data and the chart. I love using things like this, but again, just be careful that you're not putting in too much data, because if you put in too much data, it's going to be difficult to read. So you also have these lovely um, line charts that you can use. I would definitely thicken the um, the the lines because it's very light. So here in line weight, you have to play with these things, right? Look around. Like I went to data, then I went to settings to look at lines and I couldn't find it. It's up here. And these will change. And you'll notice sometimes with platforms that things will move different places. But you can see as I'm making this bigger, like it's almost making it more artistic, right? So you work with your style and your what's the best way to interpret the data. Sometimes playing around with your data will allow you and determining which of these charts would work. So I'm going to take this one for example. And I love this pictogram because this really is a great way. Again, of course, I'm changing this to purple. This is a great way to show things to people in an interpretive way. And you can also do things like change the the icon or the graphic, right? To meet more of your person. So let's just say I want to pick a computer. I can do that and show things like that. Maybe I want the world, right? The internet. Um, these are things that you can do to depending on your brand. But let's say I'm just going to pick a person, right? And I want to show, and this is a real stat, right? I want to make this. There's 10 items, right? And I'm going to fill 4.3, and I'll tell you why. All right. So when I do something like this, notice it doesn't fill in the 0.3%, right? This is the reason. If I have a stat that is like this one is 43%, Okay, and I'm going to leave that and I'm going to create a subheading of businesses spend 6 hours a week on their social media. Okay, I'm now creating something, but notice the stat of 43% really isn't represented well with the graphic because it's not giving me that look. Like no matter which one of these I pick, right, it's only showing 4 out of 10. So when we look at a pictogram, this would be great for like, 4 out of 5 dentists, blah, 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 right? Like this is a great thing for that. It's not a great thing for something that has an odd percentage like this 43. So then what I would do is I'd say, okay, guys, let's get rid of that one. But this would be great for this. And in here, again, I would choose my colors, what I'd want. And then because of here, I can put in 43%. I can add the label so I can get rid of this stat and then do that. Or instead of focusing on the 43, what I can do is do something like have something like this, right? Where you can put a percentage in here. I could also do something fun, um, like if I didn't want to chart, right? Like just like say 6 hours. Say you're looking at this and you're saying, you know what? I want a clock with 6 hours. And then I can pull something like this. Now, keep in mind this is white on white. So number one, you've got to change the color, which this particular graphic does allow you to do that. Great. But also keep in mind, and I don't know if you can really see this, but notice this is a watermarked graphic. This you could get with the paid version, not the free version. But I wanted to give you a feel for this because these are different ways for graphic representation for your content. Um, Sometimes and like here, you can pick graphic, right? Anything that has this little crown is a paid version. So, what you need to look at is there another option that's free, or can this give me an idea of something I can create on my own? Now, let's go back into our charts. So in here, this graphic representation of charts, you have multiple ways of doing it. My suggestion is keep um, in keep in mind when you're looking different formats. For example, let's talk stories or reels. Now, this is a great way to do this, but if I don't want to go through what I just went by creating my own things, I could also search for. Now, I went into Canva. I select Instagram story in this case. It popped up here and then I searched for chart. Now, as I searched for chart, I'm getting a whole bunch of samples. Now, again, keep in mind there are pro versions, so you need to be very careful that you're picking something that isn't a pro version. But let's just take a look at this. Now it's a series, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 that has things. Now, as you look at this, I can go in and I can change. It already has a stacked bar chart already in here, right? It already has measuring the impact, right? It already has two of the progress rings in this format. So I can go in and just edit it, right? These are things that you can use to help you with your own graphics in your social. And keep in mind, I'm just going to keep adding pages here. Keep in mind, they even have things that are now, again, this is the paid version, but see how they've created things that kind of have a design that looks like a chart, but isn't one of their chart functions, you know? Um, there are very interesting ways, like they've added graphics. Note, this is a great example because it's got a clear title. It gives their website. It adds a little bit of pop of a graphic and color. Now, I'm having a hard time reading this white, so I might change the background to a different color, just so that that white. I'm sorry, I didn't change the background, so that white kind of pops a little bit more. Um, that is something where you need to determine like what's going to work for you and your business. Um, this is where I say you can see a lot of these cool things are paid, which is why I say it might be worth spending a little extra money to have those access to those. But if you don't, you still have plenty of amazing options. And graphic designers have designed all this for you, so you can really leverage on that. Now, in addition, we have charts. Now, this is a square graphic. Now, notice when I did chart search using a square graphic. Now, this was when I went in to create design, and I picked Instagram's post square. I'm getting different designs because it's leveraging the different colors. So look how cool this one is, right? So again, this, however, is hand created. This is not like, notice when I clicked on it, it's giving me, I, it's something that they created. It's not a chart. So you need to be careful. So I just want to forewarn you on that. But here, here's a chart here. This is, a donut chart, right? This is, where you scroll, you have to be really careful of what you're doing and what they are selecting. So here are progress rings, right? So every time you decide you're going to share your data, um, really lay it out and decide what is going to make a difference. Um, Things that you might be able to use in a case like this to help you design your graphic by hand, or would it be easier to go ahead in and select one of the ones like again like this one here, this um, donut chart, where it helps you do everything for you. Um, when you're looking at your social media, I want you to be very clear that your focus should be on your user. What do they need to know in order to make a decision to use you? Could it be your skill set? Could it be the number of staff you have? Could it be the clients that you serve? Could it be the progress that you made for a client increased? Like take social media, for example. Could it be the increase in engagement? Could it be the value of the number of followers? It could be 101 different things that I could pick a stat. Like, for example, it could be an industry statistic, right? Like industry statistic, like how many hours are people spending on their social media in a given week, right? If you're spending 1/5 of your time doing social media on your business that isn't social media, you need to kind of take a step back and start looking at, wow, maybe I should just look at how much time I'm spending and how much money I'm leaving on the table because I'm doing my own social instead of focusing on doing my own sales. I can have somebody else do my own social. Like that's a value proposition that somebody could have when they're looking at my business, right? Why do they need it? They may not even realize why they need somebody to help you. So think about your industry. Why does somebody need to use you? Look up stats, industry statistics. So there's a number of places that you can do. Statica.com is a great place for you to go to get stats. So you can use things like that to drive your point home. So four things to keep in mind when you're creating these charts. Okay. Always make sure that you are using a title that is descriptive and provocative. It's sort of like a hook when you write in your caption, right? Um, Number two, make sure you use a simple chart type, something that's easy to interpret that matches your format. Number three, make sure that it's mobile optimized so that it can be easily viewed on a mobile device. Number four, animate it. In Canva, you can easily animate your graphs and your charts in anything, right? It's just a click of a button to animate. And of course, number five, make sure you have text in the caption that gives them a clear call to action as to what they should do next. Well, those are a whole bunch of reasons of why and how and all and using social media graphs and charts to create some visual interpretation of data to drive the decision for somebody to use you on your social media. I hope you found today's information helpful. Remember, you can always reach out to me, Maggie Carey from Master It Media. We are on Instagram and all the socials at Master It Media. You can find our YouTube channel. Check out Painless Posting. We provide captions and graphics to make life easier for you. Always check out Canva. It is such an easy tool to use with your social, and you can post directly from it. So at Master It Media, we are here to help you take the commotion out of your promotion. Have a fabulous Monday, and I hope to see you next Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern for Master It Monday. Have a great day.